Impeccability is something that Castaneda struggled to grasp and define throughout his apprenticeship with Don Juan. In response to one of Castaneda's many questions about it, Don Juan defined it as such. Impeccability means to do your best in whatever it is you're engaged in, and a little bit more. But he also defines it in other ways, and demonstrates that it is so much more than that. The core Latin word contained in impeccable is peccare, which means to sin. And impeccable is a Middle French term meaning incapable of sin. So impeccability can also be defined as sinlessness. However, sin is a very old word that I think needs help with redefinition in today's lexicon. Other more modern terms we can associate with impeccability are presence, surrender, and wholeness. They don't necessarily all mean the same thing, but these terms can definitely live under the umbrella of impeccability. To do your best, you would have to be present, and to become present implies that you've surrendered to the situation and have decided on a course of action or non-action as the case may be. And when your actions meet your decisions, then that crossroad of circumstance can be categorized as being whole, which means you are unified and there is no conflict of intentions or even opposing thoughts as you act. To be impeccable is one of the conditions involved in being a warrior, as Don Juan defines it. I hope to go into the subject of warriorship in another video, and to clear up some of the misconceptions that have come along with Castaneda's work. One aspect of impeccability that I love is that it can and should be executed anywhere, at any time. It isn't a far-fetched practice or a complicated worldview or forward-thinking philosophical construct. It is practical, it's direct, and it saves you energy, which is actually its end game. Many of us think, oof, to always do your best sounds exhausting. I don't think it's realistic for me to try and always be on my toes. But it doesn't mean that you're always fighting and sweating, and it doesn't demand that you be unwarrantedly hard on yourself. In one instance, Don Juan says, impeccability doesn't mean that you splash cold water on your face every day at 5 a.m. What he's saying is that it depends on the circumstance and not necessarily your behavior, and that impeccability doesn't mean that you establish harsh routines or pursue something with grim determination. It means that you remain alert, present, that your actions flow with ease and aren't hardline reactions to people or life in general. It means that once you make your choice, you abandon yourself to the experience without looking back. You assume your role and you give it your best shot without complaining or regrets. You also understand that you are a small part of something much greater, that between you and the world there is always a third player, much more vast than you or the people who are involved in the circumstance. In another instance, Don Juan states, I am just a warrior who has finally learned to accept the designs of the Spirit. So to grasp impeccability, you don't even need to understand it. You just need to practice it. Be there fully to engage in it, and in that presence of mind, you save energy by default. Saving energy is cumulative, and once you reach certain thresholds of energy, the intellectual understanding of what you've done becomes apparent. I suppose we could say that understanding is the fruit of the pursuit. The problem most of us face is that we need to understand before embarking, but impeccability is more of a shoot first, ask questions later approach. So reverse the standard work and reward merchant mentality and do your utmost when acting. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video and would like to see more, please subscribe.